Joining us now is a man who might have an opinion on all of this. He has passed for over 40,000 yards in the NFL. 9-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion. Ladies and gentlemen, a first ballot Hall of Famer whenever it's all said and done, 5 years, obviously, after it's all said and done. In last year's quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, ladies and gentlemen, Russell Wilson.
Yeah! What's up, squad?
Hey.
What's up, Pat? How you guys doing?
Dude, great. I think it's the first time you've ever been on our show, so we just want to say thank you, man. Hey, thank you, Russ.
Yeah, Russ.
We appreciate you, man.
Thanks for having me, guys. How you guys been?
Hey, we're great. Obviously, we're doing our shit, and saying dumb things into a microphone on a regular basis. And what we were just talking about there, I'd actually like to get your take on this entire thing. AQ Shipley comes on our show every single week throughout the season, and, he kind of like judges offensive lines. He was a 12-year NFL offensive lineman, won a Super Bowl. You get it. Short arms, was drafted low, round belly, but he was able to get the job done. Ain't that right?
Never lost in Seattle.
The complete opposite of you, Pat.
Okay, yes, exactly. Thank you. Got the job done, Super Bowl champion. Yeah, all those things, much different than me. But he judges the offensive lines every single week. He thinks the Chiefs, obviously, at this stage of the game, have, because of injuries and everything, the offensive line's going to be a question. For you, in your game, offensive line, most important part of this entire thing? Or how do you kind of judge it as a quarterback who's obviously played a lot of incredible football in the NFL?
Yeah, I think, in any game, in football in particular, offensive line, defensive line, they set the tone for the games. You guys were talking about the Chiefs a little bit. Obviously, they got some playmakers on the defensive line that cause havoc. And, Patrick, his ability to escape and make plays is really what makes him really special. Obviously, his unique ability to do that, for sure.
Okay, so Russ cooking is a similar conversation. Whenever that was being talked about, let Russ cook. Russ needs to cook. I don't think I ever heard you or anybody from around you talk about it. What did that mean to you? And did you view that as a compliment? And are we still in the kitchen?
Yeah, we're still cooking. But I think the biggest thing is, man, it's just, when you got playmakers around you, always makes it fun. I think about this year, when we were on a hot streak and just some of the guys just making plays. Obviously, George Pickens is such a freak out there. Pat Freiermuth, I thought, had a great year. I think the biggest star to this season even was just Calvin Austin. I think his emergence and his work ethic, those guys allow you to, I guess, cook in a way. And obviously the guys up front, they do a great job of just battling every play. And just giving us a chance to make plays.
We enjoyed the run with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously came to an end earlier than you would have wanted, and all the people that are fans of the Pittsburgh Steelers as well. But let's talk about these last couple of years, because obviously I think we all viewed you as a Seattle Seahawk for the rest of your life because of everything that happened there, the wins, the success, the eras. There was different eras. But we also thought Tom Brady was going to be a New England Patriot forever. We thought Peyton Manning was going to be an Indianapolis Colt forever. We thought Stafford was going to be a Detroit Lion forever. So this successful, very good quarterback late in career, going and finding a new home has become the modern norm. For you, whenever you leave Seattle, go to Denver. That goes how it goes. Then you go to Pittsburgh. How has the mindset been going into new places? Do you feel as if you have to kind of earn everybody's trust in the entire building? Or how have you kind of framed it as you have had to have new homes here?
Yeah, that's a great question. But I think the biggest thing is that, first of all, I think every year you got to earn the respect of the guys around you and the love and the passion that you bring to the table. I think all of that really matters in terms of leadership and playing the game that we love. And, it doesn't matter where we play, whether it's in the parking lot or if it's, no matter where it is, you earn that respect by how you practice and how you prepare and how you come into the weight room and your mentality to that and just all those different things along the way. And, going into Pittsburgh was a special place for me. I love it, and hopefully I get to play there a lot longer, but just it's a special place because of the guys in the locker room and the traditions and the people and the winning and all of that. Plus you got Mike Tomlin, who's, arguably the best coach of all time, one of the top ones, and just because of who he is and how he motivates us. And, even through the storm, I think that we battled and a lot of that was because of Coach Tomlin and who he is and how he makes us prepare. And so, I had the gift of just being in Latrobe this offseason and just being around guys like Cam Hayward. I've always looked up to, a guy who's man of the year and guy who's an all-pro, guys like TJ Watt and big head. Is that what you're doing there?
Yeah, gigantic. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you do not want him to tackle you, that's for sure.
Yeah, of course.
But, just guys like TJ Watt and just, there's so much leadership in that locker room, that guys that, are unsung heroes. And I think that's what makes it special. And so when you get to, be around guys like that, it makes it special. And obviously when you're seeing the towels fly around, all that makes a difference too.
Yeah, I feel like you embraced the Yinzer culture immediately from day one. I think you had a terrible towel in your opening announcement video that you were going to be there, and I think Pittsburghers appreciated that as a whole. You talked to Bill Cowher, I think, in a sit-down interview, and you said that Mike Tomlin was the first person that called you whenever there was a thought of you becoming a new team's quarterback. When you talked to him that day, obviously everybody in the NFL has respect for Tomlin. I don't think I've ever talked to a player that's played in the NFL during the Tomlin era that doesn't absolutely love him. But did he kind of lay out what it was going to look like, and what was your experience thinking about what your experience was going to be going in, and then inevitably, what was it actually with the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yeah, well, I got that first call from Mike. It was just exciting because I've always looked up to him. He's a Virginia guy, so it's got VA in his blood, 2 up, 2 down. And it was something that I've always watched being an East Coast kid growing up, was watching the Pittsburgh Steelers and watching the greatness of the guys before us. And I think a lot of it was, my passion for the game, but also, I got to play against them. I got to play against the Pittsburgh Steelers several times. We played them in, I think, 2015, and it was a back and forth battle. I had a lot of, just watching Big Ben. And we ended up winning the game in Seattle, but it was a great game that we played there before. And so I got to meet him several times, and there's just admiration there. So we talked about that a lot, but what we really talked about was just the love for the game and the process and the guys. And I think I really related to that in a great way. So, to answer your question, I think the big part of it was it's superseded just my expectations of just who the locker room is and the guys and who he is. This guy gets there super early. I think he's there probably 4:30 in the morning, ready to go, watching his film. We meet on Wednesdays and Thursdays early at 7 a.m. and just the detail that he goes through this film is really remarkable. With me and the rest of the quarterbacks and everybody else and the leadership group and all that, and just how he goes about his business is really remarkable. And listen, I think that we didn't do what we needed to do this year. Obviously, there's 31 teams that are sitting at home at some point pissed off, and we're definitely one of those, and it was too early for us. And so, I think that the big part to it is that, you continue to search for greatness every day. You continue to search for the process and the love of it, and knowing that it's all going to be worth it at some point. And I think that's the mentality you got to have going into it.
Anytime you're sitting in a 7 a.m. meeting with somebody and they tell you that they've been up for 2.5 hours, it's like, well, you're much more adult than me. I am very proud of you. I'm more of a moon guy. Okay, I'm kind of up a little bit later than you are, but damn, 4:30, you can get a lot of stuff done in those early hours. And I'm excited to hear that, it was a chatter about love of ball, because I think love of ball kind of takes care of everything else. The film study, the workout, the preparation, the buy-in, everything. I think it revolves around love of football. And we know you were a baseball player as well. Yep. And everything that's kind of chit-chatted about you in your playing game is can move, obviously can shake, rattle. But that moonshot deep ball that you throw is almost like your calling card, I would say. There's players that are known for things. There's fighters that are known for different combos. There's wrestlers that have different finishers. Feels like you're known for like the moonshot deep ball. I didn't play baseball. I don't know if there is a correlation of baseball with throwing a moon drop into somebody's lap, but this is like your thing. Why do you think this has become your thing, and is this just the most comfortable throw that you have?
Yeah, well, I think it's definitely I've been fortunate. Guys giving me a gift to be able to throw the ball down the field, and put it where I need to for guys to make a play. I think there's a few things to it. Number one, I think the guys you have making plays is always everything. You get the put the ball up in the air, guys like Tyler Lockett, as you saw in that picture, guys like DK, but also, guys like George Pickens, his ability to track the football. Calvin Austin, you saw that this year, his ability to make those plays. You're watching George right here, but I think what's interesting is that, when you got guys that are great center fielders, guys like Ken Griffey Jr., they can track anything when you hit the ball deep down the field. And so I think for me, in terms of the moon ball it's kind of like watching Steph Curry shoot. You want to give that high trajectory just to give the guy the best chance and give him the time to track it. And I think that I guess that angle to departure of the ball is always good. But, I have fun with it, man. And it's definitely a strength to the game. I think but it's always the guys around you making the plays that make it even that much more fun. Yeah, certainly some highlight reel catches are possible on deep balls, and you've had more than a few of those on the other end. But like they say, the hoop's bigger up there. It's bigger when it's coming from up there. There's some of those throws that we just watched, obviously this one, it's like this thing is dropping down like a punt, basically, in between people. It's unguardable, D, but it feels like some of these are literally unguardable. Back shoulder, they say, unguardable. And then if it's being dropped from the roof, I feel like that's potentially a tough one to get your hands on.
Yeah, it's tough to find it late for DBs. Like receivers, obviously, got a better job tracking it. A lot of DBs will look back at the quarterback as opposed to up. like Reggie Wayne, OG, he was like, hey, look up, and you can track it better. But when it's coming in from that trajectory, dropping it, definitely tough, super tough for DBs.
Okay, so let's talk about. Go ahead.
You know a little something about punting too. It's kind of like you got those great punt returners, and you saw that video of Cortland catching that one. But like just you got to put it to a place where they can get it. And I think the big thing too is having that hang time just to make the play,
Hey, did you hear him talking about you maybe not being able to do that anymore because you're old as shit now? You know that. You've been around so long, right? You've played so long now, 9-time Pro Bowler, let alone the rest of it. 9-time Pro Bowler, let alone everything else you have going on, 3 different stops. But that was one of the conversations during the offseason whenever you're either trying to find a place or it wasn't working out in Denver. They're like, Russ is old now. This ain't young Russ anymore. This is old Russ. He's not able to do all this. I assume you heard those things. Every professional athlete tries to hear and find those things. But did you hear the shit that was being said about you, both, we'll say professionally, football-wise, and personally, you as a human? Or you keep all that out?
Yeah, you hear it. You hear it around you. You feel it sometimes. And listen, I think that what we do as athletes every time is trying to defy odds every day. I think that's the mentality you got to have. I think going to Denver my first year, I was banged up quite a bit. I had my lat torn and everything else. I was trying to battle through it, but in the second year, I felt great. I felt like going to those games, and just battling and just trying to light it up there in that moment. And I felt like I played really well. I felt like myself again in my second year, and then I got opportunity to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers and be there. And obviously, like I said, this year was an exciting year in a lot of ways. It was tough at the end. Obviously, we didn't get it done, but I got so much more in me, man. I'm excited. Obviously, my goal is to be with the Pittsburgh Steelers a long time and hopefully finish my career there, God willing. But I'm just trusting God in the process, but also knowing that I've always gone against the odds and people doubting, and I think that's just part of my nature. I don't know if it's little man syndrome or what, but I love ball, man. I love competing every day, and I just love getting after it. And anybody who knows me knows that I'm going to do everything I can to be my best for the longest time possible.
Okay, on that answer, and it's the last one for me before the boys have questions for you, and we can't thank you enough for your time here on this glorious Wednesday. You talked about, what were you, fourth round? Was it third or fourth round?
Oh, third round.
Third rounder, okay, but they had just signed Matt Flynn, I think, to a massive deal over there in Seattle. And you talk about defying odds and everything like that. You weren't supposed to be the starter, but I think it was halfway through training camp maybe where Pete Carroll came out and was like, hey, we really like Russell Wilson. You and Pete kind of together seemingly echoed the same exact sentiments. His name is now being floated back into head coaching cycles. People are saying potentially Las Vegas Raiders for Pete Carroll. What was it like working with Pete? How would you describe your relationship with Pete, and have you caught up with him since you have left Seattle Seahawks?
Yeah, my rookie year, was an amazing moment just because, kind of going in there, and I was third string quarterback at the time, and just, I just kept my head down and just kept working. I think that, I think the first preseason game we played against the Tennessee Titans, I remember throwing a touchdown, I think Braylon Edwards, and I ran when my guy Charlie Martin made an unbelievable block, and I ran up for a 50-yard touchdown, dove from the end zone. That was kind of my first, okay. And then the second game, I think we played in Denver, played well there. And then the third game, I got the start against the Chiefs and threw a few touchdowns there. And so it was just like, okay, here we go. And it was, I had such great players around me. I had such great guys that were competitors, and, you think about just the players that we had. And so I thought Coach Carroll did a tremendous job of leading us and, pushing us every day to be our best back then. And I think us players wanted it. We wanted that level of work and attention, and that kind of defying the odds in a way. And so, listen, I think Pete's an amazing football coach. I think he's an amazing individual. I've been fortunate to play for two really special coaches in terms of men and how they think and how they process the game. Obviously, and Coach Pete Carroll and obviously Coach Mike Tomlin are really unique individuals and how they lead and motivate. I think they're culture builders. And so, I think people, do a great job wherever he goes. I'm not sure exactly where he's looking or whatever, but if he gets the opportunity, I know he'll do a great job. And, we've always stayed in touch. I went to see him in a lot of the other guys, Bobby and the guys like Doug Baldwin and DK Metcalf and all that, and Sherman, all those guys. When Coach Carroll got let go from Seattle, we spent a lot of time there, and we flew back in and just spent a lot of time with him, and just we have memories. And I said, it's funny because I said, if Sherman and I could be in the same room, it's always a good thing,
Yes, yeah, I would imagine.
That's but we were just all competitors, man. We love playing ball, we love winning, we love pushing it, and I think Pete always did a good job of that.
I'm happy to hear that you guys went back there, had a little reunion, to celebrate the times that you all had up there in Seattle. It was a special era up there, man, especially with that stadium rocking. I don't want to break this news to you because you might not know this. I guess that stadium's gettable now.
Yeah.
Other teams' fans are coming in there and getting it. I don't know.
No.
Yeah, I know that's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that place is special.
I think that when it was named CenturyLink, it was a certain vibe to it. I don't know. I'm not sure, if they need to go back to CenturyLink, who knows? But it was a special place. Obviously, just the guys that we had and the competitors was always unique in itself.
Yeah, it was fun to watch you guys. Legit, it was fun to watch those teams. And if Pete Carroll's back chewing his gum on the sideline, I'm in. I'm in. Just
news.
The energy, the massive Monarchs. With the pants, just walking, doing his thing. Throwing warm-ups, spinning it. I mean, absolutely spinning it. Hope that's the case. Hey, the boys have some questions for you. Is that okay, Russ?
Yeah, of course, yeah. What's up, fellas?
Talking about you being an old-ass dude now, Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, Russ, as a Packers fan, a lot of sleepless nights that you delivered to me when I was a little bit younger, because it seemed like a lot of times, hey, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, boom, Russ is going to pick up 16 with his legs. Now, obviously, you've gotten older. You mentioned it, and not to say that you can't do that stuff anymore, but you were such a dynamic athlete early in your career, picking up all those first downs with your legs. How have you kind of realized you've had to change as a quarterback as you've gotten older, and maybe realizing, like, okay, these guys actually have a step on me now, whereas when I was a younger player in the league, I could very easily pick up those, 3rd and longs with my legs?
Yeah, I can still run. I can still, get up and get up and go. But I think that as you continue to evolve, I try to facilitate the ball to the right guys at the right time, and guys getting it to them in the air as much as possible, letting them do their thing. And then when it's time, using your legs, and I think that's a big part of the game, and obviously my ability to get outside and naked and play action and boot. That's always been a huge part and still is, and a part that I feel like I still do extremely well. I think, you try not to spin out and do crazy stuff all the time, but when you need it and you got to do it, I think I go back to the Cleveland Browns game. It was 4th and 6 this year, and it was a torrential, just the downpouring of snow.
Great blizzard.
And I just kind of spun out and went left, and we had to have it, and I ended up hitting Pat for a big first down. He made a great play, and I just remember Myles Garrett just rocking me right there in that moment. But just those things, I'm still capable of doing. I think that we got playmakers around you, though. You try to get it to them so they can make those plays as much as possible. But
point guard,
I'm always working on my speed. I think that's a big part every offseason is make sure that I can still get up to 19, 20 miles an hour and still feel good about it.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw your ass day after season ended doing this one right here. Let's go ahead and get that.
Yeah, you look good doing that. It's like
not bad balance. Hey, I've been working. I've been working on a little bit of balance. Are we doing any more baseball? I remember we see you.
Baseball. I'm playing baseball with my son. Future. He's got a chance. He's got a real chance. So my son Future and Wynn's 4 years old, but I think he may be a shortstop for the Yankees one day. And I got Future over here who's actually playing for the Major League 10-year-old to 12-year-old Yankees. So, I don't know. I need to call Derek Jeter and get some tips from him playing shortstop. But I think he's got a chance. He's got a good swing. He's got a home run power swing. He's got some speed to him. He's got a good arm. So,
okay,
that's the baseball I'm playing right now. It's fun though.
Yeah, visualize through the entire thing because Ty, who's a Yankees fan, just noted.
Yeah, Russ, the Yanks don't have a second baseman right now going into this year. So listen, I understand you still want to play quarterback.
Free agent though. Hey,
but hey, maybe something to think about.
I turn a mean double play. I'm just saying, I still can.
They need that. They had the most errors at second base in the majors last year.
Hey, listen, can we talk about this finally? Because every time you do this training camp thing, every time, or whatever it's called, what do you guys call your
spring training?
There it is, spring training. I don't know baseball.
Same thing.
I apologize, Russ. I don't know baseball well enough. I do have respect for the fact, though, that the Yankees are the Yankees, and they're the ones that are having you at spring training. It's not like every human is allowed to just come do. You a good player, good baseball player, and can you hit a curveball? Isn't that the big difference? Tim Tebow, right?
Yeah, the ability to hit the curveball is always everything. the thing is, it takes so many reps. I think baseball is one of those. It's kind of like golf a little bit. I don't know, Pat, if you can play golf at all. But it's one of those things that your ability to hit, something that's coming at 97, 98 miles an hour, and then also the ability to, at any point they break it off. I think that ability to do that. So, I could hit for sure, but I need to spend more time on baseball. I'm glad I decided to do football. God just kind of said, "Hey, let's come over here and just do this." But it's been fun. I love baseball, man. It's just being able to play and just I think it's God created baseball for everybody to enjoy. And some of my favorite times were just being on the baseball field in my young years.
Were you a sunflower seeds guy?
I was a sunflower. I'm a sunflower seeds guy, but I chew all the sunflowers. I don't. Everybody that breaks one at a time. I'm kind of one of those guys that just like, it's almost like if I had chew in, that's me. I don't chew. I'm sure you and the boys do, but
no. It's like, I am not a tobacco guy. Actually, tobacco, nicotine, the only thing that really all the other things I'm okay with. My body does well.
All the other things.
All the other things. Yeah, and we all know there's a list. There's a plethora of them. The forest is where I like to remain mostly. That is where
nature.
But all the other ones, had nicotine and tobacco. Just kind of it sent me into the whirly birds way too much.
Sure.
I'm like, I'm not doing this. I had to do like the leg on the ground.
Oh yeah.
On the bed. Yeah,
I'm spinning. We don't want you punting. We don't want you punting with a little swirly in your head.
But I did booze pretty good whenever I was punting. I don't do as much. Do you never? You're not a real. You'll have a beer with the
boys. I try to be clean as possible for me.
That makes sense.
I'm not in the forest like you as much.
Hey, anytime you want to hit a different altitude, you let me know. I'm assuming there's a lot of people that have that offer on the table for you. Would love to smoke with Russell Wilson.
Seattle, Denver.
Oh my
Marshawn.
Those are great states for the entire thing. You'd have to take a trip back, obviously, just like when Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
You head out to the. D-Bud has a question for you, Russ.
Yeah, that's probably the reason you hit the ground running. As a rookie, you came in, set a passer rating record, threw for 26 touchdowns. I think that was a record as well. Went to the divisional round. What's your thoughts on what Jaden Daniels was able to do out there this season and now during his playoff run? And I know you spent some time with Dan Quinn in Seattle. Thoughts on him as a head coach leading that organization to their next chapter?
Man, that's a great question. First of all, we got to play Jaden Daniels this year and the Commanders and guys like Bobby, I got to go against, man, just a guy who I truly admire, and just going against him and calling plays against him was fun this year. And it was a battle. It was a great game. It went down to the wire, and it was back and forth. Jaden was a special player that day. He was also special throughout the whole season. I think, he's got a great demeanor to him. He's got great poise. I think that anytime you're looking at a quarterback, through the highs and lows of the season, do they remain the same? Do they remain the same? Do they stay confident in the midst of it all? What are their practice habits? Can they make plays in certain moments? The game's on the line. Do you believe that they're going to make the play no matter what the circumstances are? Do you believe that, hey, when they're down and, at the half or whatever it is, do you believe that they can bring it back? And I think those are the it factors and the things that you got to believe. And I think Jaden does a great job of that. I got to be around him some last offseason and everything else. And he just got a cool demeanor to him. He's obviously confident. And, I had a lot of respect for him when we played him. And he's going to have a great career for sure. Going back to your Dan Quinn question, though, he's just, he's one of those all-time great motivators, him and interesting story, Mike Tomlin and Dan Quinn were actually, boys for a long time. William Mary VMI, Coach Tomlin was telling me that during the season when we were about to play those guys. And I've always stayed close to Coach Quinn. I think he's just a tremendous individual. He's a guy who gets there early as well. He's just a guy who's dedicated to his players. He's a tremendous teacher. I think all the great coaches are great teachers.
There's some photos coming out of Quinn back from college and high school.
Oh, man.
Yeah, meathead.
Yeah, stacked.
He might have had the tobacco.
Yeah, horseshoe.
Yeah, he might have had
maybe.
Yeah, that head too. I mean, he was. Backwards hat Dan Quinn has been awesome to watch, and they certainly look at this guy.
That's Dan.
That's Dan.
Wow.
Nuke.
Yeah, what? There has been a half a tin in that right side of that face before. No, I've seen it. I know it for sure. Dog, absolutely. I think he has some record in track and field there at Salisbury State, and then obviously his football photos are hilarious as well. And now he's flipped an entire franchise like that overnight with new ownership, and they're obviously happy. Speaking of being happy, a man who's been a diehard Steelers fan his entire life. Let's head to Hammer, Dahn, AP Tone.
Yeah, Russell, first and foremost, thank you so much for everything you did for the city this year, especially the Children's Hospital. I know that means a lot to the injured, so we really appreciate that. But you talked about wanting to finish your career with the Steelers. Has there been any talks with Omar or Coach Tomlin about that yet? And if you do, how much do you think, second year with Arthur, second year with all the weapons, how much do you think development like that can help next year?
Yeah, man, that's a great question. First of all, man, the kids in Children's Hospital, they have a great Children's Hospital there in Pittsburgh. Obviously, the people there are unbelievable, and it's really about the nurses and doctors and what they do for everyone. Man, it's really special. I've been fortunate to meet so many kids over the years, and that's kind of my Tuesday. Just kind of just thanking God just for the opportunity to try to be an influence and impact. And those days are like some of my favorite days. That and Sundays, just they're the best. But I think first of all, yes, we have been starting to talk a little bit, obviously, and we've had our our meetings and everything else, and kind of just getting into it. So I think that it's an exciting time. I think obviously to be a Pittsburgh Steeler and the opportunity of what we can do. But I think at the same time, I think that Omar and Coach Tomlin, man, I really love those guys and who they are and the team that they put together and the team that we can put together. And so I think that's a big part of it. And I think. I think as you mentioned, I think anytime you go into any offense, I think, always that first year, second year, third year, those years together always make a difference and grow. I think, you think about some of the all-time great guys, you guys like Tom Brady and guys like, obviously Peyton Manning, they've been in systems for a little while. I think that always helps too. And so, I got a lot of respect for Arthur, who he is, and as a teacher, as a coach. And a competitor as well. We spend a lot of time on Fridays together and all that. So, but yeah, I'm really excited about the opportunity of being in Pittsburgh, hopefully longer. And like I said, I'm always trusting God in the process.
You like Arthur?
Oh yeah, I like Arthur. I think everybody tries to.
Hey, there's reports you hate him.
Anytime you lose the game or two or whatever it goes on, people always try to tear things down. I think Arthur's just a great coach. I think obviously has been a head coach. And we love trying to find ways to compete every day and just get better. And so, he's a great coach.
I didn't even think about last year. You didn't even have a chance to do training camp because you hit a sled too hard. What do we not know about this story? Because when it came out, I'm gonna let you know. Tone and all Yinzers were like, "What are we doing?
Oh no!
What we lose our quarterback because of a sled drill in this entire thing? What happened? You were full pads. Who was standing on the sled?
We were just pushing this heavy sled as fast as we could and whatever, and just doing this workout testing thing we were doing. And it was unfortunate, but I think the best thing that during that time period, it was ironically good for me because going into Latrobe, I'm sure you guys have been out there before, but going out there was a special time because we had to sit late at nights and just sit with the fellas and play Uno and have some good times chopping up with the guys. And then early in the mornings, and I get in the pool and work out quite a bit, and then lift and everything else, and do whatever I could do, and just being with the guys in the training room, and just guys like Gabe and Dino, and there's special people in that building, and players as well, and just I think sometimes we go through as players, we're so competitive, we always want to be out there, but there's so many things to learn, even when you're down and out for a bit, and so I was able to learn the guys a lot, and I think. Probably my favorite part of the season was just the whole offensive dinners, taking the guys out every Thursday and watching Thursday night football and just laughing, having a good time, and just, breaking bread together. So those moments, I think, even when I was injured, just being able to grasp, the playbook and grasp the time with the guys, and then still finding my work in the day, even if I was hobbling around the first couple of days, it's like, okay, let's still work. We're never not doing something. And I think that's kind of always been my mentality of the process.
Yeah, getting better every day. That's Russell Wilson, baby. I want to let you know that is part of your brand. Because remember, we heard the flight. You did the high knees during the flight over to England. Remember? Heard that.
Yeah, listen, I think every player in the National Football League and any NBA guy, they're always moving on the plane. I think they drew that out of proportion. But
oh
it's all good. It's all good.
no! I heard you were
Maybe not that much movement, but close to it. But I think that I think it's part of being a pro is always being able to move and keep your body fluid, especially on a 10-hour flight. But it's all right. I'll take the memes. I don't mind. So,
you did get murdered. You got murdered for that one. That one was a murder scene. Yeah, but it's all like for good works too hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Cares too much. And I think everybody just assumes it's fake. I think same thing happened with Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
Like we met Tim Tebow, and I was in the era of Tim Tebow. I think we all kind of were. And it was like, there's no way this is who this guy is. There's no way this is how they're portraying him. I don't think it's your fault that the entire world portrays you in one particular way, and media and everything pushes a lot of the shit that you do. Just like I didn't think it was Tim Tebow's fault that everybody was pushing it. But in everybody's natural reaction is this can't be how this person is. And then we meet Tim Tebow, and it was like, I'll be damned.
Yeah.
This guy's really like that. Is that kind of, you think, how people, because I feel like the image in which we have of you, works too hard, cares too much, always there, always ready, preparing all the time. Like everything that is projected publicly about you, once again, not your fault. This is how they're talking about an NFL quarterback who's very good at his job, is like perfect human. Is it hard to kind of live up to the hype of like a guy who's like a perfect NFL quarterback? And has that weighed on you at all throughout the entire process of your celebrity and fame in this entire thing?
I think that whenever you're trying to be great at anything, I think there's a process. I think it goes through this whole process where you're kind of starting. I was a 3rd round pick, 75th pick overall. I had to do everything I possibly could to be great. I had to do everything I could to be on my stuff. At the time there wasn't that many African American quarterbacks. There definitely wasn't many short quarterbacks in the league at the time. There was only a few of us at the time, and there felt like there was a responsibility for me to play the game and to process and do things at the highest level, and to also try to continue to create opportunities that others had created for me. And I think that's a big thing to me. It matters to me, and how we go about how we become a professional and how you learn from others. I remember guys like Leon Washington that I got to learn from, and how he processed and how he took care of his body and how he took care of his mind. And it was a 365, 24/7 thing. And it was an obsession with it. And I got to be around some greats that did that. And that mattered to me. And it always has mattered to me. My dad, my brother, they showed me that. And that was important to me. But I think a big part of it too is that I think anytime I'm a positive guy by nature. I think that's me. I try to be uplifting. I try to, speak life into every situation. I always say that, it says in the Bible that the power of life and death is in the tongue. So what you say matters, how you impact others, how you encourage. When I walk into a room, I want to speak life into every situation. When I'm on the field and we're down, in 21-0 and a half, can we come back? Let's go. Here's how we do it. And that's who I am. And I'm not going to change for anybody, because that's who God created me to be. But I think a big part of it too is also understanding that, I think just being consistent in who you are, no matter how you are, no matter what you go about it. I think that's an important thing that people can trust and believe in. And I think so for me, when my dad was on his deathbed, I think a lot of it for me was understanding that, when he passed away, I remember the next morning just kind of hearing the sun still comes up in the morning. And that kind of changed my perspective of life in a big way, because I knew that, no matter what we go through in life, we all go through challenges, we all go through, circumstances and everything. We have the obligation and opportunity, especially when you got, the football in your hand, you're one of 32 guys in the world. Why would I be any other way? Why would I be negative? Why would I bring others down? I just want to lift other people up. And I think that's something that I really take pride in, and it matters to me to do that. And I think God's given me a gift to play the game of football. And he's given me big hands and an ability to throw a moon ball, and try to punt it, to throw it as high and possible as you punt in the air. But it matters to me. And I think that's just the obligation that I have to the game.
Yeah, I think you should take pride in that, brother. Hey, that was beautiful.
Hell yeah.
That was absolutely beautiful. We need more yous in the world, not less of you. And I think all anybody wants anybody to be, especially who's in a public position, is be who you say you are. We just heard Terry McLaurin say that to his teammates before they went and upset the Lions. Be who you say you are. I think you have done that. And I think some people just find it hard to believe because there's not a lot of yous out there, brother. And on that point, I think I heard that on Monday, you and Sierra were literally in LA, I think giving diapers to babies and stuff like that after the fires. It's like, you talk about 24/7, 365 being a professional. It feels like you and your family 24/7, 365 try to like make the most of everything and try to do everything. Thank you for doing this, legitimately. And what was the group you were working with on Monday?
Yeah, it's been really cool. Sierra's on the board of Baby to Baby, and we wanted to make a difference in LA. Obviously, everything has been so sad, man. We've seen so many people lose their homes. When you think about it, you come home and it's where you bring your baby home the first time. It's where, life happens, this and that. And, all the memories that people share and cherish, a lot of those are lost. And, it's hard to ever get that back. And so, for me, it was, for me and C, it was just really just trying to make a difference. Our youngest daughter, Sienna, not our youngest daughter, but our young daughter, Sienna, she's 7. And she was like, let's make a difference. And we really wanted to. And so we all kind of got together, me and Sierra and Sienna in Future. We all drove up to LA and just, we partnered up with Baby to Baby. And, our foundation does a lot of stuff with them too. We wanted to do more with them. And so it's been a cool process. And what they're doing, Baby to Baby, is really, really amazing. They're doing some really, really cool things. And so what we were able to do was just go into a warehouse, pack a bunch of stuff, bunch of things for survival kits, essentially, in a way, for people. And just there were so many great individuals and so much great leadership with Baby to Baby. And we're excited with our foundation to be able to do more stuff with them. Hopefully, Why Not You Foundation and stuff. But and then I did this real cool thing with Fanatics. I'm excited about too. That the Fanatics team did. I got to meet this guy who his son plays tight end for Cal, and just a really, really good African-American dude who's tall. His dad's like 6'7". I don't know how big he is, but got to meet him, and he surprised him with Fanatics and gave him a Steelers jersey. He's a huge Steelers fan.
Nice.
He lost a lot of his memorabilia in the fires, and so I gave him a Steelers jersey. And then his son, we're doing something pretty cool where he's gonna get his own like trading card, and we're gonna try to raise money around that and stuff. So that was really cool too. But just, I think that it's making a difference and everybody coming together.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Ruben too. Let's go. I like that out of here.
Yeah.
Let's focus on that. Let's focus on that.
On that one.
And Russ, thank you for making the world a better place, man. And thank you for waking up every day trying to be a positive influence on it, because I know you get shit on a lot because of it. So the fact that you just, in the face of all that, continue to do that, it's a beautiful thing. And I asked Rich Paul this. I asked Travis this. I'll ask you this. Are you helping write any songs or do any? Are we?
No, I'm staying away from
Smart. And I see you dancing though. I see you dancing every once in a while in there. I don't know if you're going to give any.
Yeah, after we beat the Commanders, I hit them with I think it was the AB.
Put that shit on. Huh? Okay, respect. All right, we appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, guys.
Future Hall of Famer Russell Wilson. Thank you, buddy.
Russ.